Hey guys, KRC here with a double review. This time I'll be reviewing the Kyutama Gattai 10 and 11, Deluxe Ryu Voyager, and Deluxe Koguma Voyager and Ooguma Voyager from Uchu Sentai Kyuranger. These are the Voyagers of Ryu Commander and Koguma Sky Blue respectively, which can combine with Sasori Voyager to form a new mecha. Each set includes one Voyager and one Kyutama, so let's get started. First up, we'll look at the included Kyutama. So, first we have Kyutama 10, the Ryu Kyutama, which is based on Draco the Dragon. This is a clear purple Kyutama, you can see the number down there, as well as the two fractured halves of the image on the front and back. Then we mouse slide it, we get the complete image of a shining dragon. And here's the bottom, or the back rather, and here's the bottom that is made using a purple plastic, which makes it different from the one that came with the Ryu Teioh. And of course, you also have a different hidden image. Next, we have Kyutama 11, the Koguma Kyutama, based on Ursa Minor, the Little Bear. You can see it's a clear sky blue color. The number down here, the fractured halves of the image on the front and back. And then if we mouse slide it, we get the complete image of a bear cub. The one cool little note is that the way they designed the mouth here does make it actually similar to Koguma Sky Blue's Voyager, or rather visor. And we have the back and the bottom. Next we can use these Kyutama with the Seiza Blaster, starting with the Ryu Kyutama. So, I'll set it on and activate the change mode. Then attack mode. Then go mode. Then control mode. Then moving on to the Koguma Kyutama. So once again, we'll start with the change mode. Then the attack mode. Then go mode. And you'll notice that Koguma Sky Blue's Voyager is collectively referred to as the Kuma Voyager, so that is how I'll be referring to it most of the time. And then, finally, control mode. Next, we'll look at the Ryu Voyager. So, to attach the Kyutama to the Voyager, you're going to want to take it and flip it to the underside, and take the Kyutama and have it facing down, then snap it into place like this. And there we have the completed Ryu Voyager. And the first thing to know about this is that it is long. According to the box, it's about 625 millimeters, or roughly 2 feet long, and that is probably one of the longest Sentai mechs ever made. And it's also the reason why I have it displayed at this angle, because if I was to have it on its side, you can see I can't even fit in the entire frame. So, let's look at it from head to tail. Starting off with head, you can see that it has this metallic gold skull piece, which reveals metallic green eyes, and a purple head underneath it, as well as some nice painted horns. A lot of nice detail on there. Has a silver lower jaw that you can open up like so, as well as close it. And we have the body, which has a nice scaled design, as well as silver ridges all along the top and bottom. And see that with the Kyutama here, it does give off the image of a Chinese dragon holding an orb in its hands. You got the midsection here, which with these two silver pieces, which will come into play later. Then you have the back end, which mirrors the front, even down to the way the claws are positioned, although it has them more kind of curled back. And then you have the black tail piece. And we can see a few neat details on the other side. It also has quite a few wheels on the bottom, so it can roll along quite nicely. And you can pose it a little bit, at least at the head and tail. Next we have the Kuma Voyager. So, to attach the Kyutama, it's basically the same method as with the Okami and Ouchi Kyutama, to where you just plate in, facing down like this. And there we have the completed Kuma Voyager. So, as you can see, this is made up of two parts. The main part being the Ooguma Voyager, which takes the form of this bear mixed with kind of a racing buggy, as you can see by the exhaust pipes on the back as well as the spoiler up top. It also has this helmet here, which I admit does kind of make it resemble a football player. You can see it even has molded in ears. And you also open the mouth up like this and close it. Has four wheels so it can roll around. And you can lower its head so that you can deploy the Koguma Voyager. As you can see, this is much smaller and has a lot less paint, but still is pretty detailed. It even has kind of a mini Kyutama cockpit molded in the chest. And it also has its own helmet with molded in ears. Even though it has only one wheel to roll around on, you can still display it on its own. And with that being on one wheel, it does kind of remind me of something like a circus bear on a unicycle, which I think is pretty amusing. Next, before getting to the main combination with Ryu Voyager, just want to show how the Kuma Voyager can combine with Kyurenoh. First, starting off with the arm mode, we'll switch out one of the arms, then transform it and prepare it. We need to tilt up the front wheels like this, tilt in, or fold in the back wheels like this, and then tilt up Koguma Voyager's head, and attach it to the arm socket. And for good measure, going to swap out the center Kyutama with the Ryu Kyutama, since Ryu Voyager doesn't have any lights in it or any kind of electronics at all to actually display or to show the hidden image. And of course, these are the cockpit style hidden images. And we can also turn it into its leg mode. So for that, gotta keep this folded down and keep it like this. Actually, not quite. We're going to remove the Koguma Voyager, fold these up again another 90 degrees, and fold up the head. Then we need to attach the Koguma Voyager to one side or the other, depending on which side it's going to go to or which leg it's going to become. In this case, we're going to switch it out with the left leg, so we'll have it on that side. And there we have the leg mode. So, next we'll get to the main combination. And like I said at the beginning of the review, this will make use of Ryu Voyager, Kuma Voyager, and Sasori Voyager. So to start, we'll set aside these two and prepare the Ryu Voyager. First off, we'll remove the Kyutama and set aside. Then we're going to take this skull piece and actually remove it. And underneath, we can see this fully molded in purple dragon head. So, I'm going to flip it around 180 degrees and fold it in at the middle, taking these sections that made the head and tail and folding them forward and snapping it together at the middle and folding these up to become the feet. Then rotating up the arm sockets and inserting the Ryu Kyutama into the chest. Then we'll take Kuma Voyager and Sasori Voyager and turn them into their arm modes. And attach them as the arms. And finally, we'll flip around the head, take this piece, move the jaw all the way to the back, using this clip inside, attach it to the top of the head. And here we have Ryu Teioh. So if you take a look at up close, you can see that it has this new head inside. It is pretty small compared to the helmet on top, but you can see it has sunglasses, a red kind of sunglass-like visor, as well as some claws surrounding the face. You also see it kind of has claws surrounding the Kyutama in the center. And basically is a pretty standard kind of robot. And you can see what everything became, to where the middle part became the shoulder sockets, the main body became the torso, with the head and tail being the feet, and the front and back sections being the legs. As I said before, this has no electronics, so there's no way to display the hidden images while in this mode, but it still does have articulation to where you can rotate the arms around and pose it how you see fit. And of course, with this in mind, it does mean it is also compatible with the other Voyagers, so you can swap out the arms if you like. And it would have been nice to see some kind of hair articulation, but unfortunately, because of the way this is attached, the back section of the helmet does kind of prevent it from turning left and right. But for what it's worth, it's a pretty cool mech. And finally, Kyurenoh can combine with Ryu Teioh for the series' first super combination. So to start, we're going to take the arms of Kyurenoh and swap them with those of Ryu Teioh. So we'll attach Kuma Voyager and Sasori Voyager to Kyurenoh, while attaching Kajuki Voyager and Chameleon Voyager to Ryu Teioh. From there, going to remove the helmet to Ryu Teioh and turn around the head. Then turn the arms 90 degrees, as well as rotate the arm Voyagers so that they're facing like this. Then I'm going to fold down the feet, and coming around to the back of Kyurenoh, attach it using these 4 clips to these 4 sockets. So 2 up there, and 2 down there. And finally, take what was the helmet to Ryu Teioh, and using these 2 pegs, attach it to these 2 holes on the chest of Kyurenoh. Just like so. And here we have Ryu Kyurenoh. So as you can see from the way they combined it, is a pretty simple combination. But it is one that makes use of all the parts. That being said, I do think that the combination might be a bit too much on the simple side. Because as you can see from the side and the back, what you basically do is switch the arms to the 2 mechs, take most of Ryu Teioh and use that to kind of form this big backpack, with Kajiki and Chameleon Voyagers being these kind of shoulder cannons, then giving it the arms of Ryu Teioh, and the helmet on the chest. You can see it right there. And of course, you can still make use of the light-up gimmick for Kyurenoh. But it doesn't have any special sounds for Ryu Kyurenoh, and that's why the sounds for that, as well as the sounds for Ryu Teioh, were put in the Ryu Voyager. Though with this being said, you could, again, do a little bit of customization here, switching out different mechs as the different parts. Though from what I've seen, there are some combinations you can't do. For example, one thing you can't really do is take a Voyager like the Kuma Voyager and attach it up here on one of the shoulders, because it will actually get in the way of the shoulders to Kyurenoh. And the same thing can be said for Okami and Uchu Voyager, because they do fold up the same way. But at the very least, it does use it pretty efficiently, and it does have good balance since it uses what were the feet of Ryu Teioh, has these heel spurs in the back, so that it doesn't fall over backwards. And obviously, because of the way the weight is distributed, it won't fall forward or fall over forward either. Though it is kind of a shame that it doesn't really do anything to change up the head of Ryu Teioh, as it is often pretty common to see some kind of change in the head of a mech when 2 Sentai robots have this kind of super combination. But for what it's worth, it's not too bad. And there we go. So overall, while the Ryu and Kuma Voyagers are cool on their own, the combination into Ryu Teioh is a bit disappointing and a bit lacking in my opinion. The 2 big concerns for me and the 2 big problems I have with it are, the first, that it only makes use of 3 Voyagers instead of 5 like Kyurenoh. And the second is that it chooses to leave out, having one of the other already previously established ARM mechs to put in the new Kuma Voyager as part of that combination. And the same thing applies to the combination with Kyurenoh, because throughout these 3 combinations, that just leaves out Tenbin, Hibitsukai, and Washi Voyagers. And I would have liked it if they had engineered Ryu Teioh to be able to have 2 leg sockets, and maybe even something on its back, so that you could make use of Tenbin, Hibitsukai, Washi, and Sasori, along with Ryu. Because it just doesn't feel right to be at a stage where we have our 2 main mechs, as well as our first super combination, but we have 3 of the Rangers mechs left out of key combinations as well. And as far as that combination to make Ryu Kyurenoh goes, it also feels lacking, because it just basically amounts to taking Ryu Teioh and making it a backpack, switching around some of the arms, and then giving Kyurenoh a chest ornament. And it doesn't really do anything to change up the look too much or change up any of the sounds. So it's not quite as good as it could be. Now, one thing to note is that if you don't have any of the three Voyagers that make Ryu Teioh, you can buy them together as a set. But if you don't have them, of course you can buy the Ryu Voyager and Kuma Voyager separately. That being said, while I can certainly recommend picking up the Kuma Voyager since it gives you a new Limb Voyager as well as the deluxe Kuma Kyutama, or deluxe Koguma Kyutama, the Ryu Voyager is kind of a hard sell just because it is long. That's gonna make it cost more and have a higher shipping cost. But if you are a mech collector and you're not really so much into collecting the roleplay stuff, or you just don't want to buy the Ryu Teioh, then it is recommendable in that it's another way to get a deluxe Ryu Kyutama. So I can certainly recommend picking up these two Voyagers or the set, but they're not as recommendable as I'd like them to be. So next time I'll be reading the Yokai New Magazine 02. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you're new and would like to see more, please subscribe. And for now, this is KRX50, riding off.